Welcome back to Soccer Cards United. It's episode 270 of the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Hello, Enzo. What's on the show today?
Hey, Jason. Hope you are doing well. We have, Topps Knockout is back for the 24-25 season. I don't even want to talk about Champions League knockout stages at the moment. We're going to preview Panini's final, Jason, their final Premier League Prizm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, not their final SKU. I'm sure we're going to see 15 different SKUs, but it's their final Premier League Prizm hobby, should I say, release. And I don't know if you're getting excited, Jason. I don't know if the butterflies have started or if the stress has started. I struggled to sleep last night, I must admit. The Dublin card show is 9 days away. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's not like the stress has actually hit me, but bizarrely, the biggest stress last year was attendees. That is the least of our worries at the moment. It's a few other bits, like I can't even get into it, but a few little bits that we needed to get done. But the attendees, the stress of that is just when do we mark it as sold out? Because I think the venue might start knocking on the door if we keep selling tickets.
We're 9 days away from a full Dublin card.
A full house. It's going to be, just for people that don't know, and in case anyone listens to this podcast and has yet to book but plans on coming, it is going to be a sellout. So I would do that.
Get yourself booked in sooner rather than later.
And the Friday trade night, if you have not got that sold out, if you've not got into that, you listen to the podcast, shoot us a Soccer Cards United DM. We're always able to accommodate friends of the podcast into a Friday night mixer. But the show, once it's sold out for insurance purposes.
Okay, and with all that said, let's hear that music. All right, so Enzo, 2024-25 UEFA Club Competitions Topps Knockout released this week. Was it Monday or was it Friday?
Oh, Jason, we are in card show mode. You're forgiven for forgetting. I want to say it was Friday.
All right, well, I hope
everyone
will forgive me.
I don't even know what day it is today. Wednesday. Probably came out Monday, to be honest.
It's sometime in the last 5 to 7 days. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's recent, very recent.
So for anyone who doesn't know, this is the set that has come out every year from Topps Europe, an on-demand set where basically it just kind of marks the beginning of the knockout stage. Now, whether or not the playoffs that are playing at the moment are the end of the league phase, I think they are technically the end of the league phase. Like if you're cup tied till after these playoffs. But so knockout will be starting in the next round. Anyway, it's back. It's 2 numbered parallels guaranteed per box. There are autographs 1 in every 2 boxes, and there are a few interesting little bits to have a look at. One is triple autographs on the checklist.
Triple autographs on the checklist, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the other one piece of interest is that Impact has been integrated in. So
yes,
UEFA Impact, which used to be a standalone set, and that is the kind of design we're used to seeing, which always highlighted rookies or young players that have made an impact, or it could have made an impact but didn't make an impact but had to make the checklist. They've integrated into Knockout. So yeah, I think they've made it a bit richer. Triple autos mixing Impact into Knockout, which makes Knockout pack a bit of a punch, if you will.
Very nice.
There you go. I think it's good. I think it looks good.
We see here, just for anyone watching along, you can see an Endrick 101 Impact autograph. Mikey Moore, I believe this is Mikey Moore's first Spurs autograph. First autograph maybe of anything. The triple autos, a few of the clubs have disappointing ones. I know, Enzo, for AC Milan, 2 of the 3 players, Alvaro Morata and Noah Okafor, are no longer there, but Rafa Leao is there. But I actually have to say, I have to congratulate Topps, because this Barcelona triple autograph of Rafinha, Lamine Yamal and Robert Lewandowski is
as good as it gets.
It's as good as it gets. It is 3 current players who are playing together every week.
Playing well. Very well.
Playing well. They are like the creative, productive force of their team. And if you were going to capture Hansi Flick's 2024-25 Barcelona team, this is the triple auto to do, because I think I look at this and I go, I'm just going to gush on this for a second. I look at Lewandowski, obviously has such connection to Hansi Flick, obviously together at Bayern, and he is kind of the old man of the team. He's the goal scorer. Rafinha is kind of like the workhorse, someone who has like worked their way up to Barcelona. You always hear players saying, he's born again in the terms of he's rejuvenated, or born again like he's a Brazilian born again Christian.
No, rejuvenated.
He could be both, in fairness. But anyway, yeah, but he's rejuvenating, and he's also like one of those players that, like, when anyone goes to Barcelona or Real Madrid, you often hear like, I always wanted to play since I was a little boy for this club, and he is like now the captain of Barcelona for Hansi Flick a lot of the time, and it's incredible. And then Lamine Yamal represents the kind of pinnacle of the La Masia sort of tradition. So I just think this is a fantastic triple auto, and I want to give a shout out to the tops that I assume it's been pulled or not been pulled already, but it will be pulled pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, that's as good as it gets when you're putting that together. And the problem is, the trouble is, Jason, that throughout the years we'd see a card like that, and it would be, you know, I don't know, he's not at the club anymore, but like Ousmane Dembele would just be thrown in, and it's like, why would you? He's on the bench. What are you doing? You had his auto. Like, what do you? Maybe that's a bit of this one. To be fair, the
your Vinny Jr., Arda Güler, and your Brahim Diaz.
Yeah, not the best.
Because this should be obviously you don't have Mbappe because he's Panini exclusive, but it should be Vinny, Rodrigo, and Jude if it's not going to be Mbappe.
Yeah. But obviously they've done that before. Maybe you can't do that all the time, kind of thing. So like, I don't hate it, but yeah, it just shows how good the Barcelona one is. I think more so.
Yeah, absolutely. So triple autos always welcome. The inclusion of impact we like as well.
I like that for sure. Sad that there won't be an impact this year, but I do think that was a good move.
I think we could all do with one less.
Definitely.
Product. I think this is a nice configuration, and I'm glad to have something kind of folded into it. I like this design. It's kind of simplicidad, kind of photography. Maybe
I wouldn't go that far, but it's nice.
In that kind of like not looking in that direction, the far distance, you can see simplicidad.
My issue with that one, can I say, that looks a little bit like one of the Showtime inserts.
Yes.
Give me that Showtime vibe, but I don't know. I need to look at them both side to side. Maybe I'm not being fair.
This kind of like I don't know what you call that coloring, but it's blends into the background. Name, font, Vinny Jr. and Haaland there. That's a nice kind of like maybe I say a liquid silver, a liquid gold.
We can't go that far, but yeah, no, I like that. Those are nice autos.
These I'm not so keen on. These are kind of base designs.
They're kind of the old school knockout vibe, and I'm not into it. This one again, I know what you're saying.
That's right. They're a reference to the kind of beloved knockout of past.
That's right. And this one, I see your Simplicidad. I'm hoping Simplicidad wasn't folded into this, but I don't believe it was.
You see here, Harry Kane.
Yeah, you're getting a bit of a field view. I think that's what you're trying to point out.
That's what I'm trying to use the word field view, but I'm struggling to get there.
This is fantastic. I like that one because it said FedEx in the background. Our beloved FedEx.
Oh, yeah. Incredible sponsor of the... actually, this one here, top goal scorer. So... this brings me on to the next interesting thing about this product, which is bonus parallels. So it says here on the top side, to strengthen the set, we have added 14 different bonus parallels, which can be found in lucky boxes in addition to the normal configuration. So 14 different bonus parallels, which can be found in lucky boxes. These bonus cards include top goal scorer and assist providers of the UEFA Champions League, including names like Robert Lewandowski, Victor Gyökeres, and Florian Wirtz. So there are bonus parallels.
I feel like that has been
randomly maybe
a trend across the board for hobby and ecom for the last year, but it's like that almost sounds defensive. It's like everything. It seems like someone walked in and told everyone everything has to get better.
Yes.
Like this year we've improved it by this, and it's like there's been a huge jump because there's been a few years of stagnation, you could say, where it's kind of hasn't jumped crazy. But this year it's been all about, and here's why it's better than last year. But like I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I feel like the past years has been good. You know what I mean? Like people, I heard people complaining about gold last year, but like I thought that was a good set. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the demand for improvement, as though I love it because it makes the hobby easier, makes it better, it makes it fun, it enriches products, which is fantastic. I do feel like there is this pressure that it's like we need to improve. It needs to be an improvement, and here it's almost like they need to prove themselves. This is the improvement.
I view it as that's definitely, I think you can pretty strongly correlate that with the takeover of Topps by Fanatics, and sort of the Fanatics, I don't know, more of a corporate structure, more of like we are not necessarily just a publishing house. We are a company, and we are growth. We are kind of like quarterly growth focused. So somebody needs to, I imagine there are more meetings. There are more like, you know, I need to see results on my desk by 9 o'clock, Johnson, or whatever, you know, like there is that kind of demand for always improving. And also I would say one thing we've seen is the design teams or the product teams or whatever attempting to justify prices in a way that I think pricing got way out ahead of product development. So we were seeing price increases and we were seeing more products at higher prices, and we weren't seeing any sort of improvement in the products. But now, and it seems like, I know what you're saying, like almost like nearly overnight, it's like bang, all these improvements are coming in. But I almost think they're catching up to prices that rose too quickly, maybe.
If you look at a set like gold, though, that improvement came with a price increase again.
That's where that's where I think
They improved
like
it
on
too much.
flagship, I really liked it.
Yeah,
but it's tough. It's tough because in a normal world, it's like, right, you can increase your price if you increase the quality of the product, but the prices were already high. So, but for something like Knockout, what are we looking at? We're looking at,
I think it was €60.
€60, yeah. So
that's a lot of improvements for a €60 product.
Yeah, that hasn't gone up to 90. It hasn't gone up to 100.
Yeah.
So, now I know it's not. People would say it's not an autograph in every box, but it's an autograph one in every 2 boxes. That's
something.
I feel like we don't even often see autographs one in every 3 boxes now. That's kind of
an improvement again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Bundesliga international stars this year became 1 autograph per box, I think.
Yeah, a lot of little kind of patterns like that. Then people will say, critics will say that a lot of these autographs are, like, who wants them? Who needs them?
I seen in gold. I didn't watch enough openings, but the general gist of the openings I seen in gold is that, they improved it to 2 autos, 2 parallels. 1 auto, I think, might be always a base auto in that product. Now, I'm sure there's cases of 2 numbered autos, but what I seen from maybe 5 or 6 different openings was 1 numbered and 1 base auto, which is a bit mental.
Yeah, I mean, I had that a similar thing opening Deco, I think, where it's like it was an extra parallel. There used to be 2 parallels and there was 3 parallels. And all the parallels I got were like, 75, I think was the lowest I got. And so it's like, well, I don't actually, an extra of 75 parallel
doesn't do it for you.
Doesn't do anything for me. Why? I don't need this. This is as good as a base card. Like,
yeah,
it's that balance between, like, do you want just more bells and whistles, or do you actually want like richer
products? You want both, Jason. That's what you want.
But you always want both. But how do you have both at the same time?
Breakers Delight. Well, I've been underwhelmed by a lot of Breakers. I think you need to rip that by the case to really get it, get the value back out of it.
And nobody's ripping it by the case because everyone's buying into breaks.
That's right.
So no customer is getting the value.
I know customers are getting the value.
Well, but they
get the value for the spots they're buying. Think about that. Definitely. I remember members only Stadium Club. I tell you, the only way to get value out of that was to go near the Breakers Delight product.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't see prices on that, but I don't imagine. I think the people who are making the money at Breakers Delight are the breakers and not the people buying the sports and the breaks.
That's true. But if you hit, Jason, that's the.
Well, if you hit, yeah. I mean, if your horse comes in, you win with the bookies. Like,
I think if you bought into 2 case breaks worth of members only, you'd have done better than ripping 5 cases of Stadium Club solo. I would say that. Now that
Stadium Club Hobby.
Yeah, that was particularly bad.
There was no hits in Stadium Club Hobby. They were all taken out, put in Breakers Delight.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was mad.
That.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm scared of Stadium Club this year because of that. Because Stadium Club was kind of the sure bet all the time. It was always like, you get your Stadium Club, it'll be good fun. But yeah, last year was a bit of a massacre.
Not so much. We can also confirm based on a checklist here that there is an only one in UCC Knockout.
Okay.
So,
and that might be more than one only one as well, isn't it?
Yes.
There
could be, as far as we know, up to 2 only one.
Wow.
Also, just on the Topps sort of on-demand side of things, we saw a bit of controversy over this. This was an Instagram post that put on the socials for. It says, "It's Fergie time. The countdown to the release of UCC Decades has begun." So UCC Decades, new product. This epic set, rewinding through the ages, will feature Sir Alex Ferguson's first ever Topps UCC hobby card, alongside many other icons in the Planet Football subset. So what happened here was, that's not what the post originally said. It originally said Alex Ferguson's first Topps card. And people were very quick to remind them that was not the case. SPFL, match attacks, etc., etc. So now it's Sir Alex Ferguson's first ever Topps UCC hobby card.
Right. It's very specific.
That's very, very specific. And so there's 2 things we know. We know there's a set called Topps Decades coming, and we know there's a subset called Planet Football, which I imagine, if a manager is an example of some Planet Football, it may be like commentators and people in and around the game. Pundits, this kind of thing.
I like the design. It's very retro-y. It's a bit of fun. That's an unbelievable Umbro jacket, by the way.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. I'd
like to see a patch from that Umbro jacket.
Yeah, I like the font. I like it. I like this one. I want to see more, though. That's the only image we got, right? We didn't really get anything else.
Yeah, we didn't get anything else. just that it's Topps Decades. And if you look here at where it says Decades is written in every letter is a different font, as if to indicate that it's a trip through time. So yeah, I don't know.
Nothing gets by you, Jason. Look at that.
I know. I can read these cards like a book. So who knows? There's no more information at this stage about Topps UCC Decades, but
keep an eye out. Probably this month.
I imagine it will be. Someone said, please make some Alex. Oh, please let me make some Alex Ferguson sketch cards.
Let him.
He doesn't want to buy them. He wants to make them. So
fair enough.
If you're listening, artist issues, come and get me, play the top.
Let me do it. Let me draw him.
That's us on Topps. Let's talk about Panini. Right, so we'll get into Panini Prizm Premier League, which I happened to see while I was browsing PaniniAmerica.net. But first, just to say that we talked about Select La Liga coming back, and just to confirm for everybody, Select Serie A is also coming back.
How could it not?
How could it not? Totaling 250 cards. The base set has 3 sections. Of course, you know, your terrace, your mezzanine, your field level. Can I tell them apart without taking like a few minutes? Not really.
Come on.
I mean, I can, but I'm just
saying. Field
saying,
level tend to be horizontal, Jason.
And they're at field level.
Or is that mezzanine? Oh, no. I've messed up big time.
What's this one? This is...
That must be terrace.
Parallels include silver, red, multicolor, blue, honeycomb, and then numbered ones after that, which doesn't seem like that many parallels.
Yeah, seems very, very short print, which is what we like to see.
The lowest numbered parallel there is purple 49. So it goes 49, 45, 30, 25, 20, 10, 5, and 1. That's pretty good.
Bronze checker might be new, and they seem to have removed zebra, which was a big hit last time. People loved zebra. Yeah, it'd be interesting to do the maths on that. I assume they increased the print run, but not drastically.
And I suppose there might be other, Hobby International.
That's true.
Like that might have zebras or peacocks or something.
That's right. They'll definitely have peacocks. Couldn't let that go.
Hobby boxes have 14 base parallels, 5 of which come serial numbered.
Can we just actually appreciate that you're getting 5 numbered to 49s or lower in the box? And 2 auto/auto relics, whatever. Select is unreal.
A very rich product. Yeah.
Select is unreal. Although again, the case hits didn't do it for me this year.
No, this is of course this season be the last chance for Panini to put Kavica Kvaratskhelia in a Napoli kit, I guess, until he retires. And now that he's got the Paris Saint-Germain. But yeah, that's not a great stained glass design.
They have the Ligue 1 license. So to be honest, Jason, my big bet for maybe next year, I don't know if I can do it this year, but Ligue 1 Select is going to come to us eventually.
Well, we keep saying it. We've been saying it on the podcast for years.
I'm sorry. It's been 5 years. All the good players have left the Ligue 1, but still, I still think it's worth doing.
There's a Select Future, Michael Chiodi there for Fiorentina. So release date subject to change, as we know with Panini, subject to a lot of change.
Much, yeah.
April 9th, 2025.
Okay.
That's one for April.
I like that. Yeah, I like seeing some stuff coming out in April. That calms you down. It's been a bit of a crazy start to the year. We're kind of a lot of nothing, I would say.
Yeah, especially for soccer men like us, there hasn't really been a lot to go on.
Into, yeah. But again, we can't complain. We got our flagship in December. I think that's what it is, because like you can't complain about your Christmas morning if you opened a couple of presents on Christmas Eve.
This is true. We've already had our cake and we want to eat it too.
That's right.
Yeah, that is the downside of getting flagship in December, is then you have to have at some point you have to have a period of nothing.
Yeah, of sadness.
Right. Yeah. Right. Coming soon. 24-25 Panini Prizm Premier League Soccer Hobby. When I see that box, it's still kind of like, it never does anything for me when I see the box.
That pixelated box. I like Jason. Here's one for you. Yeah. I like this. I had a box of 22, 23. No, maybe 23, 24. Yeah, 23, 24 Prizm, a big green box. Premier League at the show at London. You weren't in London, right?
Yeah.
I had 2 boxes. And I had them for £220 a box. Okay, There was a lot of hims and a lot of haws. No one stuck their teeth in. And you know what's funny? I had Select International Premier League, and everyone kept going, "Do you have the hobby?" And I was like, "I brought the international because you don't be buying the hobby." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I had the hobby Prizm, and they were looking at it like I was mad. Do you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, on day 2 of the London show, after getting a bit frustrated, I just opened it and put it into the open pack format. And
Yes.
I priced the 12 packs at £20 a pack, Jason. Now that's £240 total.
Let me do the math.
Do the math.
Okay, so
do the
you're
math.
be up, yeah.
And wouldn't you believe people kept coming in for them £20 packs?
Wow.
You got to use your head, people. No, but I say that to say, although the box also does nothing for me, in the kind of pack configuration mode, it is irresistible. Because if you think of a Topps Chrome, there does be 18 or 20 packs, or sometimes 16 packs. There's a lot of packs in there. When you're looking at 12, and you're thinking, I have a 1 in 12 chance of the auto, there could be a case. It's the Prizm starts hitting you different, Jason. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Okay, I appreciate that. I think that's a fair defense. And this 24, yeah.
Sorry to cut you off again. And £20 for a pack that has 12 cards in it. They're chubby packs. Like, it doesn't, like, if you had a Topps Chrome and you were saying, look, it's €15 a pack, people kind of look at you sideways. What are you talking about? There's 4 cards in it. What are you. So Panini did something right there.
Panini are kind of the masters of bulking up.
That's right.
They always look bulky, the Panini products. We'll give them that.
Yeah.
So 12 cards per pack, 12 packs per box. 24-25 will have 5 numbered prisms and 12 additional prisms per box on average. Who's on the cover there? It's Haaland, Alisson, Eze, Omari Hutchison of Ipswich, Cole Palmer of Chelsea, and that's Antoine Semenyo of Bournemouth.
Jason, you're good.
Thank you.
That was too pixelated for me to see.
Mo Salah.
That looks like the kind of the number to 92 parallel that we had last year. I don't know if that is going to be the case, but that looks a bit like that.
Yes. I like this design.
Yeah.
I like this design.
I like it.
Hang on a second. Yep. Sorry, I immediately was like, is this the same design? But I was thrown off by colors.
That's right. Stuff. And you get a lot of color in Prizm.
Yeah, there's a color blast, white color blast.
Very nice.
Are you a white color blast or a black color blast guy?
White.
Everyone's white, aren't they?
That's the kind of standard one. And it's amazing.
I like that design. That's a Kobe Mainu. There's your base design. Now we had, if someone is interested in Prizm base designs, we on our last Q&A episode a couple of months ago had a long look through the years of Prizm base designs, and I think if my memory serves me correctly, if this base design
was included,
it would be right near the top of my rankings.
Yeah, I think like we've seen the kind of the leaking, Jason, of FIFA Club World Cup Prizm, because I was going to say to you, with Premier League leaving, do you think they're going to keep the Prizm brand for soccer apart from just obviously the World Cup? Like, do you think?
Yes.
Obviously, Club World Cup is its own thing. That's a totally, I don't even know how to digest that. But like, are we getting a Serie A Prizm? Are we getting a FIFA Prizm? Without World Cup, just FIFA Prizm.
Well, I think there's a great opportunity here to do like Prizms, because I understand they kind of like they like to keep Prizm pretty tight. But why can we not have a FIFA Prizm, or can you pick every year? Pick a La Liga or pick a Serie A or pick a Liga or something and do a Prizm release for that league, so that you don't end up with every year there's I think it's one of the problems with Premier League Prizm is that there is a Prizm every year, so it becomes slightly devalued. Now I know obviously NFL Prizm, NBA Prizm, they're not devalued by the fact there's one every year, but I think for a market like soccer,
it was a bit
we
tough.
kind of associate Prizm as a special thing because of the World Cup.
Yeah, I honestly I'd rather, Jason, have it similar to Select, where it's like you get each league, each license gets represented, but the print run is much smaller than you'd expect it to be.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like,
instead of one big Prizm, give me 3 or 4 moderate Prizms where it's like, if you're ripping a couple cases, you're probably getting golds and 1-on-1s, and it's mental. A bit of madness.
Because when Prizm color hits,
it hits hard.
It hits. Let's have a look and see what else is here. Emergent. No, I never really liked not a big insert guy in Prizm, but
yeah.
What is this? I don't know what that is.
That looks so World Cup Prizm-y though, doesn't it? That's like real old school Photoshop job, and all the rest of it.
Yeah. There's your auto design, penmanship signatures,
dual
autos. Yeah. So I don't know. It's pretty exciting. Listen to this. The hobby juggernaut Prizm is back for the 24-25 season. Get ready for the biggest league in the world on stunning Optichrome. The 300 card base set features players from all 20 teams.
Prizm loves being 300 card base set, and they say it with pride.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. That 300 card base set. The super rare manga and Prismania inserts. Prismania. What is Prismania?
I'm looking at the second last bullet point. I can't help but be shocked.
Yeah. Look, Company Prizm joining the titan of the industry, Color Blast. Go back to a simpler time, a Panini Flashback 2014 featuring a throwback design among a plethora of inserts to collect. So you think that's what the Gibbs White may have been?
No, maybe, but yeah, probably. Because that's the exact vibe I got off it. So if so, it is so successfully. But it's just mental to have Panini almost recognize their own legacy in 2014. It was a bit mental.
And it's also the only mention in this, or the only kind of oblique reference in this entire page that this is the last time they're going to make this product for the foreseeable future. Go back to a simpler time. That's obviously a coded reference to before all these Fanatics guys popped out of woodwork. Go back to a simpler time. That's strange to see a company including kind of like a
nostalgia in an upcoming product.
Yeah. Wow. One certified autograph per box. The roster of signers includes Pep Guardiola.
We cannot replace him. We cannot replace Prizm. We cannot replace it.
David Beckham, Cole Palmer, Savinho, and many more. I'm going to have to do a quick, I hate to do it on the show these days, but I am going to have to do a quick look up of Panini Prizmania.
Oh, yeah. Gee,
I've never seen.
It's not the show I was promised.
Oh, my word. Look at this. This is crazy.
Oh, wait. This is the big heads and all, isn't it? Is this not the... Yes. This was a big deal in NFL and basketball. I don't know. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That is a 2024 Charles Woodson Prizmania insert, case hit.
Yes.
And that is coming to Premier League Prizm.
To soccer.
I mean, now I actually am very excited about
you're buzzing. You cannot wait. Jason, we have a few cases on allocation, let me tell you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And Erling Haaland with a big head.
Oh, come on. Pep Guardiola, maybe.
Pep Guardiola with a big head. Wow. Incredible. I like that. Prizmania is the one for me, I got to say. Right. So that's Serie A, Select, and Panini Prizm both coming to our hobby shores this season. Right. So, Enzo, one of my most favoritist things that ever happens on the podcast is when I get to include a non-hobby media outlet talking about the hobby.
Yes.
And there aren't many figures in the hobby that are big enough to move that needle, but one is Tom Brady, TB himself. Now we know the NFL is coming to Ireland this year, so you and I have to get, up to date with all this kind of stuff. Like
I know.
Brady.
Patrick Mahomes failed to do a 3P, and that's good for Tom Brady's legacy as the GOAT.
Yeah, right. Certainly.
We're gonna lose this fast.
Certainly. I won't say anything about. I was going to lodge it today, but I won't.
No, don't do it.
This is from CNBC, who are like the market, like a Bloomberg type situation.
Oh yeah.
Tom Brady buys ownership stake in sports collectibles company. Tom Brady will acquire 50% stake in Card Vault. The company will change its name to Card Vault by Tom Brady. And card collecting has surged since the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh, thanks, CNBC. Right. Card Vault, a sports memorabilia retailer. Tom Brady will take a 50% stake in it. As part of the deal, will change its name to Card Vault by Tom Brady and is planning to rapidly scale its footprint.
Soccer Cards United by Tom Brady.
Hey,
how do you get acquired? This is we'll get into this after you read through this, but that's a question I have. How do you?
Tell me if Soccer Cards United by Roy Keane.
Nonsense. I'd like to know genuinely what was Card Vault before Tom Brady. And
it was a shop.
Right, but okay.
It was founded in 2020 as a way for collectors to buy, sell, grade, and trade cards.
See, we were founded in 2020. That's what upsets me. I'm jealous. How did you get acquired, Card Vault? How did you do it?
How did you go from zero to the Tom Brady?
Yeah, why you? How you? Keep reading. I need to learn.
The sports collectibles retailer currently has locations at TD Garden in Boston, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and Foxwoods Resort and Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut.
They moved off fast than those, let me tell you.
The company will open a flagship location this spring at American Dream Mall next to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and has said it's actively identifying new locations in other sports hubs. So we talked about Fanatics going on to Regent Street in London and having their pop-up and all that kind of stuff. They're not the only ones rapidly expanding a chain of hobby.
Yeah, they're not the only ones to realize a retail makes sense if you put it in retail locations.
I guess not. Brady said in a statement, "This isn't just about buying and selling cards. It's about curating. It's never. By the way, it's never just about buying and selling cards.
Certainly
you can never say that.
We're collectors of cards, of course. We're still doing that.
It's about curating history, building community, turning fans into collectors, and giving them access to their own great moments in sports. He's taken the turning fanatics into collectors. And
Yeah, if I own Tom Brady autographs, I'd start selling because it seems like he's going to be signing autographs for the next 20 years.
yeah. The plan is to expand its digital content as it looks to reach new collectors and investors. This is Brady's first foray into collectible space. In December, he put up his valuable watch collection for sale at Sotheby's. He was seen buying up cards at Fanatics Fest in August. Sports, collectibles, and cards have been part of my DNA since childhood, and Card Vault has set the gold standard for what our modern fan experience should be.
Wow.
A lot of these quotes that Brady is going for are very Fanatics coded, the kids would say.
That's right.
And it's like, I don't know. He's going up against them in a certain way because they've kind of been, Michael Rubin has been his hobby patron over the last few years.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know. It's hard to look into it. I mean, if you're a hobby shop owner, apart from Card Vault, of course, are you concerned that now you're kind of competing with the Tom Brady's of the world? But also, ultimately, does that bode well for growth?
Yeah.
In the space?
I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad thing anyway. I think it's good, but it's different. Once again, it's different. People always ask me, Jason, they always say, how do you do, it used to be two, how do you do 2 podcasts a week, 1 podcast a week about like the hobby? Like, how do you come up with things to talk about? And
yes,
I don't know if it's always been this way, but it feels like there is always a lot to talk about. There's always movers and shakers and things happening if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I recently had a similar conversation, and I was telling a group of people that we had moved to a 1 podcast a week schedule, and they were shocked by 2 things. They were like, 1 of them a week, and then they were like, "Wait, how many did you used to do?" And I said 2, and they couldn't. They were kind of falling around the place. They couldn't believe that this was
a 2 a week for as long as it was. Yeah,
but that's just the way it goes.
People have been missing us. I'm getting some messages. People are missing in that 2 a week fix. People missing our faces, Jason. That's right, or our voices more so. Unfortunately for us, it's more of the voice.
It's more of a vocal thing. So that's Tom Brady and his investment in Card Vault, and maybe one day, Enzo, we'll visit a Card Vault shop.
Yeah, I definitely think we will. They seem to be very well located, and they seem to be expanding rapidly. So if we keep going to the US of A, I'm sure we will find ourselves at MetLife Stadium, and we'll know they're nearby.
Obviously, stadiums are like they're going after kind of like places where sports fans already are, and fan shops and all that are already in stadiums. They already have like kind of retail activations. But this is something that you and I have discussed before: is when is there going to be the first hobby shop in an airport?
Yes.
When is this going to happen?
Yeah, we want it. We want to see it.
Yeah, because obviously, okay, we spend a lot of time in airports, so maybe I have a skewed.
That's where the ideas come from.
Like in my mind, everything should just be at an airport because then I would be able to do whatever I wanted in an airport. But I really do think there should be a Card Vault by Tom Brady at like, Logan International Airport in Boston or whatever. So that when you're waiting around, you have literally nothing to do. You go down, you open a few packs.
Yeah, you stumble across, you educate yourself on the hobby because you have time to burn, and you're getting involved. You're getting into it.
The National is in Chicago so often. O'Hare International Airport in Chicago should have one because
I remember Jeff did his. I don't know if he was in business class. Yeah, he was in business class doing his rip of I think Mercury basketball. You get more plane rips if you had shops in airports. Whether or not that's a good thing, but it doesn't matter. Like it would be fun.
And I mean, you talk about problems at card shows, problems with card shop break-ins. If there's ever a place where it's completely secure to have high-value collectibles, it's on the other side of security at an airport. Airside, they call it.
Yeah, that's right. Airside, and people in general are going to behave well in an airport because I feel like the law takes no messing about. And once you're behind that security line, you need to be as well behaved as you've ever been. Jason, who's going to be the first person to host a card show in an airport? That's my question.
Card show in the MasterCard Lounge.
That's right.
So that's something to
think about. We're giving out free ideas every day. If you acquired our company, you acquire these ideas. But
exactly. For those of you who are listening, for the Tom Brady's the word that they're thinking maybe I might want to buy Soccer Card United. We could be in every airport in Europe.
That's right.
Aer Lingus okay, another quick. I mean, Aer Lingus, there has to be some sort of synergy there.
Like it's got to be. They could acquire us.
That's right. Yeah. If anyone should acquire us, it's them.
Or we should acquire them if we can get these cards into PSA 10 grades and flip them, and we'll buy Aer Lingus.
Yeah, we could make a buyout offer on Aer Lingus. And then if we had some sort of like synergy going on with Aer Lingus, Soccer Card United could be programmed on the in-flight entertainment system.
No, if you ever wanted to burn through a flight fast, that's one way to do it. If you ever wanted to fall asleep.
Exactly. Okay, let's not spend too much longer on Tom Brady. Let's move on to tag grading.
Yes.
Who recently put out a statement, and I don't know if I want to read the whole statement, but they put out a statement we want to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude for the overwhelming support we've received. A tag we set out 12 years ago with a bold vision. It's been a long journey to get here, but we're just getting started. Our ultimate goal, Tag have laid down a gauntlet. The ultimate goal is to democratize grading and introduce remote grading pods in stores near you. The pods will encapsulate your cards on site, making high precision grading more accessible than ever. This will mark a new era where every collector, from hobbyist to professional, can access consistent and transparent grading with ease. Thank you for believing in our mission. Your passion drives us to keep innovating. Can't wait to show you what's next. The Tag team.
I would like democracy itself to be democratized in the current state of the world, Jason, before grading does. But I respect it as an ultimate goal.
Yeah, so they're saying, right? So if anyone doesn't know Tag, their whole thing is like data driven, computer models. It's less, they would say it's less subjective than a human being grading your card.
Computational grading, essentially. Computer scans and the likes in order to grade the quality of a card.
The spectroscope scans your card. And
you get a crazy amount of data in your little QR code if you want to find out what part of your card was mangled.
Exactly. So they basically have taken, I guess if you kind of semi-automate something like that, or you like figure out a way to do it with machines, then the great benefit of that is that maybe you can scale it and you can kind of have the machines doing the work in various places, including in these remote grading pods. So Enzo, I say to you, is it a good idea for a grading company to have in-store grading and encapsulation, or does it kind of is it going to create a lot of worthless slabs?
I would like a grading pod in my house.
Certainly.
I don't know, Jason. I don't know. I think there's a lot of like Tag, without a human eye properly on it, it's hard. I think there's definitely been some circumstances where there's been an issue where it's kind of like, this is not getting a good grade, but the reality is maybe there's an eyelash on a card or something, or something on the lens. I don't know. Is it good? Probably only in kind of specific locations, being probably card shops and maybe at shows and stuff. It would be cool to put your card into a machine, have it scanned, and then encapsulate it there and then. I think it's incredible, to be honest. Like if PSA came out and said they were able to do that, we'd all be fawning over it. So I think it's great. Right. It's innovation, but I don't know. It's a weird one, because I think it ultimately comes down to, do people want their card to be a 100% perfect card, or do they want PSA to give it a 10? Because I think there's a difference between those two things.
Yeah. Because essentially you kind of just want someone to, in most cases, to come along and say, yeah, that card is worth the most it could possibly be worth.
And whether or not that's Tag, I don't know. But I think Tag is definitely a fascinating grading company. Like, I've never graded with them. I think we might have had a free grade token at the National. I don't know if we ever used it. But we definitely held the Tag card in our hand at one point and went through
for sure,
the QR code and how much information it gives you. It gives you an insane amount of information. But yeah, I think it's it'd be unfair to not consider them as someone that could potentially be disrupting the industry of grading. If they keep doing this and if they can run through as many experimental tests as possible and stuff like that. The annoying thing is that PSA 10 is considered the gold standard, and it's kind of like one of the best ways to verify this makes no sense, right? One of the best ways for them to verify their experiment is to take a card that's PSA 10 and verify that it is in fact perfect condition. But the problem is, we all know, we all remember the gold Prizm PSA 10 and Messi that sold that gold in auction back in the day, that a PSA 10 is not necessarily a perfect condition card.
And vice versa, I would say as well. One thing that I don't see grading companies do, because you can't do it. It's one of those things that's like, it's a good idea if you're not in the grading company, but if you are, you would immediately see why you couldn't do it, which is, I don't understand why a lot of these companies don't attempt to correlate their grade with a PSA 10. Like, if you are like a company who is, obviously, how much cheaper can you be than PSA? That's part of the problem.
No, but
it's not like PSA.
But like, if I'm Tag grading, I would get as big a sample size of PSA 10 cards as I can possibly find.
Yeah.
Particularly if they're modern.
Yeah.
I would then put them through my Tag system. And let's say the average is 92% in Tag, means it's a PSA 10 all the time. Then I would say to people, if your card comes back as a Tag 92%, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to cross it over to PSA 10. Based on all of this data. Now, whether or not then PSA, all they have to do is anytime they see a Tag 92, they just have to mark it down and they complete. So it's subjective or objective, or it's subjective. I don't know, Jason, but it's it's something that I hate in the industry, and I'm sure everyone that's trying to disrupt the hates in the industry is that PSA rose to the top. And that's what, like, I think tag, Jason, as well. When I think if you grade your cards with tag, they'll give it back to you in a packet. So they'll
That's
actually
right. If you haven't seen
packify.
that, you kind of get to rip it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, which if PSA did that for whatever reason, like if PSA did that, there would be so many TikToks and Instagram reels. Like PSA do the little kind of virtual thing where you flip it. But if they actually invested in, they obviously grade so many cards, so that would obviously cost them a lot of money. But they invested in those rip packs that just said PSA on the outside and you ripped it. That because the amount of times I see people, Jason, sorry, I know I'm rambling. The amount of times I see people that will open their PSA box and it's so uncomfortable to watch because it's like I don't even have a card here. They cover it with their thumb and flip it over, and they like tease themselves and tease the camera, and then they just slowly. And it's like the fact that you're doing that shows that it is interesting content that people will look at and go, did it get a 10? Did it get a 9? What did it get? And you're looking at the card itself. You know what card it is, and you're waiting to see the grade. But if they even just like added a little peel, or if you just stuck, when you get like new electronic devices and over like a screen on it, they have like a little peel.
Yeah.
If you had a peel over the PSA slab part where it says the name and the grade, and it just said PSA, and it was instead of being see-through, it was kind of a blocked color, and you could just peel it off. That would be as good as ripping a pack because you see the card, you know what the card is, and you peel the peel, and it's a bit of fun. But yeah, it's tag can. I think it's like tag and anyone else are just chasing them, and I'm sure they're all fuming and curious as to why they have this kind of self-righteous lead.
It's we talked about it a little bit when I was opening that Ultimate Drops box on the podcast, and you mentioned to me they had dividers between each card so that you didn't have to worry about kind of like Pokemon pack style rearranging them all, and it is that thing of like we're seeing such innovation at all levels of the hobby, but especially in the kind of the challengers kind of section. Companies that are trying to establish themselves or are trying to grow their market share, and as you say, a lot of this stuff, if it was rolled out by the mainstream, leaders in the industry, would be getting huge praise. I think it's interesting because we've seen PSA are expanding into Europe, Beckett are expanding into Europe, and if you're a tag, you're going right. We don't have the financial resources to open a centralized, they're talking about decentralized, so opening like a centralized facility here and one here and going to Japan and going to Germany, et cetera. But if we can figure out a way to have these remote grading pods, then we can have like a network, and we actually don't need to have these kind of big warehouses or these big, like we need to go and hire 12 graders in the UK or whatever it may be. So it's an interesting idea. I do think like grading in itself is becoming a little bit muddled.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there is the kind of just like people want to, the same way that like if you enjoyed opening, people enjoy collecting World Cup stickers, but then as soon as you saw somebody opening a pack of World Cup Prizm, you'd be like, well, I kind of want that. Like I don't want, now I feel a little bit silly with my stickers. I want my pack of Prizm where I can get maybe an autograph. And I think a lot of collectors, once they see people grading the cards, you kind of instantly go like, oh, well, look at that, though. That's like another thing. So it does become a commodity as opposed to this is something only for the finest of fine cards.
I love grading just as a form of storing the cards and knowing their exact grade. It's easier to transact with them. Like I love nothing more than having an autograph card that says PSA 10 and I never have to, at a show or on eBay or whatever, tell people like, yeah, the condition looks great. No, that's not a scratch over there, I promise. That's what I love it for. I haven't, not often have I done it as a way, not intentionally. Like I will try to grade a card, get a 10 and hope it's a higher price, but that's not like, I feel a lot of people are only doing that. They're trying to just find angles and percentages and stuff like that. Obviously you have a nice card, you grade it, it's going to go up in value. Amazing. There are cards we'll say, I want to grade it first before I sell it and this, that, and the other. And at the most recent London card show, I picked up 2 cards that I think I did decent on, but if they got 10s, I did incredibly with, amazing.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, I grade cards that, I don't know, I think like the condition comes into question and I just want to say, if it's a 9, it's a 9, great. But I wanted to just say that and I never have to have that conversation. And I'll pay.
It's encapsulation, it's classification.
Yeah. And I'll make sure it's a card,
organize your collection.
A card I'm willing to pay $20 on to do that. I do think like if you're tagged, Jason, and everything you do is AI and it's hands off, then yeah, it would make sense. One way to display your technology and your confidence in your technology is to put it somewhere and go, we don't even need to be there because we know the technology. But obviously the fear is, if you put it in a local card store, could they if they're a developer whiz or whatever,
Could they hacking into the mainframe? Yeah.
Could they hack in, or could they just open it and start just printing out whatever they need to print and, falsifying data? Because that's, you're talking, there's a security thing there. Obviously, you put it in certain shops, you can trust them, and you can say, look, I'm only putting it in the most trustworthy kind of places or whatever. But like, hands off is also scary, because that means my fake Messi rookies might be tag 10 and, the likes.
Yes. Yeah. One of the biggest misconceptions in the hobby, and I'm seeing this a lot because of the Dublin Card Show, is we're constantly being asked, is there going to be a grading service there? And people don't mean, is there going to be a representative of a grading service there? What they mean is there going to be grading there? Can I get my cards graded there on site?
Like at the
and I do think if you look at in the hobby versus out of the hobby, one of the biggest assumptions when you explain the entire hobby to people and you explain how important grading is within it, naturally enough, a lot of people who are on the outskirts of the hobby will go, right, so then I can just go to a card show and I can get my cards graded. And it's like, no, that's not it at all.
Like, no, and if you can, it's going to cost you through the nose, because they can only grade so much, so they're going to go with the high value grading tiers.
Yes,
which makes
sense. If you can, and it's a company that isn't charging you through the nose, then you probably shouldn't anyway.
Yeah, people don't understand. And there's no quick way of saying that to people, because we just haven't been replying on Dublin Card Show. That's one of the only kind of admin things we're not replying to, is just people just saying, will there be grading there? Because it's like, you don't know how to say to them. First of all, there's a good chance you don't have anything worth grading.
Yes.
Not period. I wouldn't say that, but at what a show rate would be. It's like, do you have a card worth over $200? If the answer is no, then you are not the person that needs to worry about on-site grading anywhere, with all due respect.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
Now,
but see, that's
a drop-off service is great. But yeah, Tag could make it more affordable. At the end of the day, that might result in loads of cards that should not be graded being graded, and Tag making money. Congratulations. And people eventually learning that they shouldn't be grading their cards the way they all did.
Exactly.
Like the other grading companies that popped up and disappeared. But yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, it's a mix.
I think that's what goes back to what I'm saying about the kind of like, not jealousy thing, but the kind of I think there is one of the biggest ways that, like, one of the reasons grading is growing so much is that participation element. I think people want to be included in grading and largely don't want to know that their card isn't worth grading. Like, that is like the amount of times, like, I've told somebody that's probably not worth grading, thinking that what I was going to get in response was, Jason, do you know what? You're dead right, actually. I appreciate you being honest with me and not just not just let me waste some money. Thank you very much. It's great to get some advice like that. And instead, what I met is like, I think I'll grade it anyway.
Yeah, people going, I just want to grade it.
It's not that they want the card in a slab. They just want to feel like they're
part of the hobby.
And I think Tag have an opportunity, as all companies have an opportunity, to basically, if you can make it grading a commodity that I can just go and grade my card, whether or not it's a good card, and it's not going to take 6 months, and I get the dopamine rush of getting it back and going, oh, it's
like, imagine, I don't even want to say it on the podcast because we're a card show host and I like to keep my ideas to myself. But I honestly think that the instant gratification of that is important. And I also think that people wanting the participation, I think, like, in the same way opening a packet is fun because you're trying to hit something, I think receiving a submission back and checking the grade of it is equally as fun, because if you get a 10, you're essentially getting a hit,
Yeah. So that's something to think about. Okay, let's move on to any other business.
And now, gentlemen, is there any other business?
I am just, Jason, to be honest, on my end, I don't know what you have on your screen there. I see a little devilish smile, but for me, it's just card show. We had ordered 2 batches of lanyards. The first batch arrived safe, Jason, over 1,000 lanyards. The second batch, I don't know if they're going to arrive on time. We're looking at a 3,000 people house probably, and probably 1,000 lanyards to go around. So there's a lot going on over here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are messaging about various things. I picked up some 101s for my PC. I'm going to wait until they're in hand before I start displaying them, because I'm trying to pick up a few 101s similar to the ones I picked up, and I don't want people going out there and claiming them and charging me up the nose.
Quite frankly, they will do.
Yeah, they're horrible. You people are horrible, by the way. I want to give a shout out to someone who I can't name. So, Jason, someone we care about dearly and who may or may not be at the Dublin show or may not cross our paths soon enough. One of our friends, one of our listeners, I would say, to the show have hit a huge card, Jason. I can't say what the card is. I can't give any of the details, but someone that listens to this podcast, someone part of the Soccer United podcast community, I would say, and hobby community at large that a lot of people would know, have hit a giant card, the likes of which Mr. Ken Golden himself will probably fire up the PJ if he needs to in order to
A Ken Golden card.
A Ken Golden card, but in a lot of people approach us thinking they have a Ken Golden card, Jason.
Yes.
Throughout the years, a lot of people are like, look, I opened this box of Deco. I have this Alpha 49 autograph, and I think it's going to the moon. And you're like, my friend, please. First of all, there's a scratch on that. Second of all, that's Ronaldo's auto, not Cristiano Ronaldo's auto. That's not Ronaldo's auto. So first of all, get out of here. But yeah, someone has hit a huge card. I think it's a 101. I think it is a 101. It looked like it could have been on 05, but I actually think it's a 101. Just I think for whatever. But huge card, huge card. Congratulations to them. I know they may be listening, and I'm excited. Once they announce it, I'll share it on social, and I got all buzzed about it. But I would have loved. They are coming to the Dublin show. I'll say that they're coming to the Dublin show, and I really wanted to message and say, listen.
Yeah,
I assume they hit it in a local card store. Is the only thing. Listen, I want to say, listen, say nothing. Bring that to Dublin. Pretend you hit it here. Pretend you're at the trade night. We're in the pub. We're having fun. Yeah. It's fantastic. And you've just hit this monster card. And the only way you'll send it to auction is if Ken Golden makes it there on Saturday, gets his ass on his PJ, flies to Dublin. It's only 6 hours or so, wherever. I don't
Overnight.
Overnight it in the PJ. You can have the card, but you must come to the Dublin show because that's where the card is. That's what I was dreaming of that.
That's the kind of coverage we need for the Dublin card show.
That's right. Hopefully he has only told us and told no one else, which I don't think is the case. And listen to this. Jason, if you edit this podcast fast enough, listen to the podcast. If he doesn't turn off by the
end, maybe happen.
Maybe it could happen. And what a moment that would be. And everyone that is in this podcast will have to forget that we staged it to happen in Dublin. Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to them, genuine. That's I'm excited to see the kind of, I don't know if they're going to promote it properly or they're just going to give it off to Ken and they don't want the spotlight of it all.
And if that is the case, then the listeners to this podcast will find the whole thing to be an incredibly unsatisfying experience.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Anyway, so look, 9 days to the Dublin card show. It will definitely sell out. Any minute now.
Yeah, this is not a sales pitch to. It's been crazy, Jason, having this entire experience this time around and not being worried about the ticket sales. Like, and it's a testament to what we did last year.
Yeah,
I would say on record, Jason.
Okay,
there's 32 tickets left. That is the number. 32 tickets left until we need to talk to the venue and say, to be honest, we should talk to the venue now.
There are 32 guaranteed tickets left.
Yeah, we were definitely going to try expand it, but we kind of like the idea of just selling it out as well and dealing with the expansion next year. Telling them next year, we could have had a few more in here. Can we just, but
it's going around taking pictures of empty parts of the room.
Yeah, little pockets of space.
Showing them, look, see, that's 10 people. That's 10 people. That's 10 people.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're in the process of doing the floor plan. We've made some adjustments to the floor plan. That's going to actually...
some very exciting adjustments to the floor plan.
But that's gonna dictate the capacity as well. Because if the floor is a bit different, there's more people that can walk through it and whatever. But that's going to sell out, which is fantastic. I kind of look forward to selling it out so we can stop monitoring it. Don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to all of the DMs saying, "Oh, I need me ticket. I didn't get me ticket. I need me ticket now." Because that's the bad thing about us doing one a year. Because it's kind of like, just come next year. It's like, that's a long way away.
Years a long time in the hobby.
Yeah, not as easy as saying come back in 3 or 4 months or 6 months. But come to the winter show, come to the summer show. We don't really have that. But that's been stressful. But I think the quicker we kind of just mark it as sold out, Jason, I think we don't have to think about that's it, because there's too many things on our brain right now. People don't see it all.
I agree.
I'm still surrounded.
I think people as well are going to be very, very happy with the mix. It's an incredible mix of vendors and mix of attendees that we have.
It's insane.
And I would say it's not the biggest card show in the world. It's not the biggest card show in Europe. But it's a pretty unique,
Jason,
mix of people that we have.
In London, someone said to me, it is, and this is something that gets around to a lot of shows all over the UK, Europe,
this
and
is someone who has weight.
Yeah. They said we have the best venue in Europe.
Wow.
And there are listen. We know you know how I feel about the venue, by the way. I love it.
Yeah.
But there have been definitely an increase in quality of venues across card shows in Europe.
For sure.
What started in PE halls and stuff like that have expanded into convention centers essentially.
Yeah.
We have been touted as having, I don't know if we can use that as a slogan next year, but the best venue in Europe. And obviously that comes down to the professionalism of the venue, how nice it looks, how spacious it is, and its location in city centre Dublin. And it's in Dublin,
and
to be honest.
We have the or I shouldn't say the convention centre Dublin has the accolades and the awards to back it up.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, they literally are the best convention center in Europe several times
over. Yeah.
over.
We're in one of the best venues in the world. And
I'll
we're
put
very
them up
excited for
against
that.
anybody.
Yeah.
Put back them to the hill.
We have people coming in again from the US. We have more than we had last year coming in from the US. We have people from the US and from Canada that came last year that are also coming back again this year, which I don't think you can really understate how incredible that is to do 2 years in a row.
To be coming into Dublin once a year for a card show.
Crazy. We have people coming in from, I believe, Qatar. Jason, am I right in saying that? There's an entire consortium of people coming in from Qatar. You have to sign off some paperwork, I think, which is crazy, but that did happen. We have some people coming in from India. Those are kind of the far. I don't think we have any Australians coming. I don't think we have any kind of that area.
No Australians.
But
no.
I'm sure there might be Australians that are based in Dublin or whatever, but there's no one flying in from down under, unfortunately. I'm sure the Australian card shows are fantastic.
There's a card show in Auckland, New Zealand.
Wow.
And I was like, that's even for me and Enzo, that's probably a little bit far.
Aer Lingus, the Boeings don't go that far, I don't think.
No.
But I'm just saying, global attendee, which is fantastic. I think a lot of European card shows do have that. Like, not necessarily the non-European global attendees. I think that has been really, really good. Like, I don't think people are flying in from India necessarily or Qatar to the other card shows all the time. But all I'm saying is I'm excited about that. We have a lot of vendors that are showing up internationally, which is huge because we do need that in Ireland. Ireland is still a developing hobby market. So to have our international friends vending, because we know how tough it is to vend when you fly abroad. Yeah, as you were saying, there's a mix of stuff. Our biggest challenge for next year is actually to increase TCGs at the show. Something that always gets criticized all over Europe, that there's too much TCGs and TCGs are taking over. We've kind of accidentally created a really good sports card show.
Problem. Yeah.
And as much as people would look at that and would almost promote that and say, isn't that fantastic? Like, our goal ultimately is to grow the Irish hobby, the Irish market, and Irish people are going to want TCG as well as sports. So we do need to actually hone in on that and kind of grow that. But
absolutely.
For the people that are coming, that's what you're going to see. I think Pokemon and stuff is so colorful that people always see it and go, there's so much Pokemon here. But like, last year there really wasn't. This year there really isn't. But there is still enough for the people that are interested in it, because there are vendors. Like, there's vendors coming over from New York, Jason, to vend Pokemon.
That's right.
Insane. And I wish it goes very well.
I hope so too. We also have KickOn are returning as a sponsor and bringing a whole variety of football shirt and memorabilia vendors. And then we also have a collector's corner specifically for kits. And I am slightly nervous for those collectors, collectors, because I happen to know the collections of a couple of them and they have incredible stuff. And I know especially a lot of guys that are coming over from the UK are going to be like, give me that. I want that. I'm going to buy that off you. And so there's going to be a lot of that's not for sale. We're going to have to give them, I don't know, signs to hold up or something.
They're going to have,
this is not for sale.
They're going to have their own little section. We have a little activation in the room that is actually a promotional thing that we're super excited about announcing, which is kind of probably happen after the Dublin show, but that'll be a kind of a...
It'll happen during the Dublin show, let's face it.
People will be asking us,
what's the narrative anymore?
What's the story about that? And we'll have to tell a few people and let the whispers out there and whatnot. But yeah, that's the only other business, Jason. That I don't think, to be honest, it's me. It's card show. I felt so chill for so long. I would say this is the week that it kind of hit me where it's like there's a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot still.
100%.
You'll be happy to know I have sorted the cupcakes.
I mean, that's a relief.
Listen, there was like 8 logos needed for the cupcakes, but they're all sorted. We're going to collect it Friday morning. I'll handle all that, but that's fantastic. We should get an invoice at some point off that guy for the cupcake. They're actually a fantastic price.
There's a cupcake bill to pay.
There's a cupcake bill to pay. I literally woke up in a sweat late last night, Jason, because I'd actually forgot to pay the bill for the activation. I remembered that they had given it to me, but I hadn't paid it, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So I paid it, and that was good. I think there's a banner bill to pay, Jason, if you're seeing that. But there's a lot of stuff happening here. We barely get the podcast out, to be honest. I was tempted to say, Jason, this should be the last one before the show, but I think we'll get next week out. I think we have to.
I think a short one, if we need to, is no problem. I will just mention, I want to give a shout out before we go that in last week's first leg of the Europa Conference League, there was a new youngest ever goal scorer in UEFA club competition. That is young 16-year-old Michael Noonan of Shamrock Rovers, who scored the winning goal in a 1-0 victory away at Molde in Norway. And I put on the story at the time that we need a tops now for that, because it is a legitimate UEFA record that has been set by an Irish club. And someone from Tops,
that's right,
got in touch and said, we're working on it. and I've yet to see any results. So I just want to put the pressure on there a little bit.
There's a chance he's so young it might cause issues for the cards, if you know what I mean. He might be too young.
Perhaps.
But I think I fancy them getting it done.
Yes,
it might be their first time negotiating with an Irish club as well. I assume they can go through UEFA. Maybe they can't. Maybe there's a whole thing, and then we get a top.e before you know it, and we have a League of Ireland Chrome.
Well, I tell you what, I actually saw Michael Noonan play on Sunday at Shamrock Rovers versus Bohemians in the Aviva Stadium in front of 33,000 people. More people than were at Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich in the so-called massive Bundesliga. So if there could be a Bundesliga Chrome, there could be a League of Ireland Chrome based on that one game that I was on Sunday.
Jason, as we bow out, I want to send my commiserations to myself, AC Milan, for getting knocked out of the Champions League, and I'm just going to skip over that fast. I don't want to think about it. I hate Joao Felix. But I would like to give commiserations to our Celtic fan listeners, because they had an incredible performance, a very, a classic Celtic big European night, and it was kind of a heartbreaking end to that in the last gasp. I was getting ready for extra time. I'd actually put some popcorn on, Jason, would you believe? I was getting excited. I said that we have ourselves a classic on our hands. This could get nutty, especially because Bayern, because they're such a big club, quote unquote, they kept throwing everything forward. We just left the counter attack open, and I was very excited for extra time. It was almost like pride was going to force Bayern to overstep their hand and potentially get caught on the break, and I thought we were in for a classic, to be honest. Wasn't to be. Congratulations to Alphonso Davies, but not really.
He wasn't even the best Canadian fullback there on the night, as far as I know, according to people who reported about Alistair Johnson's performance. Anyway, that's us. We're back next Wednesday. Any questions about anything, you know where to find us.
That's right.
And have a good weekend, everyone. And if you're in Dublin in 2 weeks' time, we'll see you not 2 weeks, 9 days. We'll see you in 9 days' time.
A week.
Good
Jesus.
Lord.
If you're there in 2 weeks, do your own business.
All right, that's us.